All right. I will take a motion to approve the minutes of August 1, 2022.
I'll move them.
Second.
All in favor?
One abstention, please.
Appointments, recognitions, and resignations, none presented. Consent agenda. Department reports, wastewater, Route 198 Solmesville School Zone Speed Feedback Package. Thank you letters, Eagles Nest Clubhouse, Island Connections, Island Housing Trust, Lifeline Foundation, Mount Desert Nursing Association, and WIC program. MDI Hospital and Mount Desert Medical Center partnership to provide year-round healthcare services in Northeast Harbor. Municipal solid waste will continue to bypass residential and municipal waste to Juniper Ridge landfill in Old Town from August 1, 2022 until August 7, 2022 due to a recent fire at PERC, the damage from which is still being assessed and repaired, and due to Coastal Resources of Maine's inability to process incoming waste due to suspension of operations as the result of contractual issues with key counterparties. A change in municipal solid waste bypass location from the Juniper Ridge landfill to PERC due to PERC being operational once again following repair of damages they incurred from a fire they experienced in July 2022. Hancock County Commissioners special meeting minutes of July 19, 2022. Hancock County Commissioners caucus warrant, election of one member of the public or municipal officer to serve a 3-year term on the Budget Advisory Committee. MRC receives NTI grant and an update from Revere Capital Advisors, MRC's partner in reopening the Hamden Solid Waste Processing Facility. Judge approves sale of the Hamden Solid Waste Handling Facility to the MRC. The MRC is now the owner of the Hamden Solid Waste Processing Facility following the court's approval of the sale the week of August 1, 2022, and the execution of the required paperwork to officially own the plant.
I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion, any items? Let's pull out. No.
Is there any feedback thus far for the package in item B? Just curious, or was it just the package presented to provide feedback as a vehicle?
That was an update from the DOT on when we could expect to be able to go down and pick that up in Augusta.
Oh, good.
Yep, it was just a very positive update.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Representatives of the school are very happy.
Good, thank you.
Is that, Tony, is that a big deal to be so careful about digging? They mentioned that especially.
Yes, that's been a law for over 20 years now. And what happens is if you call a dig safe number, and it's a pretty standard bunch of questions they ask you, then they say, we'll contact the phone company, the power company, the water district. If they participate, they go out and mark phone lines, power lines. We go out, we get notified of people digging in town. We go out with them and point out where the sewer is or isn't, and as well as the storm drain pipes. Yeah, it can run into a lot of damage.
Okay,
Sounded like it.
Thank you, Tony.
all right, all in favor? Selectmen's reports, any selectmen's reports?
I had a question, Derlin. It mentioned in the wastewater reports about the PFAS, which I don't want to say the real name of it because I can't pronounce it. But is the water company testing, or how's that?
The water company, yeah, I think they have to have a big series of tests by state. They're testing constantly, so I think Paul would have informed me if there'd been any issues along those lines. He's very good that way.
Okay.
So I think we can be pretty safely sure that we don't have a PFAS issue at this point.
Good, 'cause I'm drinking
Good.
it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Unfinished business, Garden Club of Mount Desert Marina Landscaping Plan.
Several of them.
Ellie?
Where do you want me to speak from? Up here?
Probably the closest
Yep.
you can is so we
Yes.
can pick it up.
Because people who are on Zoom will see you up here.
Does it help have a plan out for you to?
Oh, there it is. And it's also on the screen.
Oh,
Good.
Make it bigger then?
Good.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, good evening, and thank you for letting us come present tonight. Hopefully you've seen the packet with the
which includes the statement of intent and landscape plan and the plant list. And if anybody needs a copy, there it is right there. Tonight with me is Ann Judd, the co-chair on this project with me. And hopefully Bruce Goodell is here on Zoom. I'm not sure. So to give you a little bit, oh, and Tanny Clark, treasurer, the Garden Club. To give you a little background, in 2014, the town, the Summer Residents Association and the Garden Club got together and contributed a total of $30,000 to initiate phase 1 of a landscape restoration plan for the Northeast Harbor Marina, focusing on the area between the Chamber of Commerce and the Harbor Masters building. And last summer, the town asked the Garden Club if we would be interested in helping the town by providing a landscape plan for the next phase of planting at the marina. In part, the reason for this is because people were and still are approaching the town to donate a memorial tree or a bench without regard to any overall landscape plan for the area. So with a landscape plan available, if someone wants to donate, they can be shown the plan and decide what area they would like to contribute to. Over the winter, Tony Smith kindly asked Haley Ward to diagram the area's underground utilities. Thank you, Tony. And after this was completed, we asked Bruce Riddell, the landscape architect who designed the phase 1 section, also designed the Maine Coast Botanical Garden and the Charlotte Roads Butterfly Garden, of which Annie is in charge of. Our phase 1, and our phase 1 marina project. So anyway, so there is the plan, which you see tonight. And the Garden Club budgeted and paid for this plan. The plan, as you can see, will include the addition of shade trees around the perimeter of the central lawn and park and picnic area. The planting palette is a simple design relying on the predominance of native plants. Tree species include red maple, beech, fringe tree, dogwood, peachy hydrangea, tupelo, white spruce, and pitch pine. And there will also be shrubs, including plethora, sweet fern, bayberry, fothergilla, hydrangeas, and viburnums. And there'll be ground covers with various types of ferns, blueberry, sod, huckleberry, which all do well in the sun. There will be outcroppings of boulders and additional stone for wood benches. And they will create interesting focal points and places for repose. The corner bus parking area will have a slight berm, so that's on the right over there, with an evergreen backdrop of native spruce trees that will embrace the lawn area to help provide physical and visual separation from vehicles. So the plantings have been chosen for their low maintenance requirements and resistance to drought, disease, and pests. The irrigation system can be modified to add drip irrigation around the bases of the trees until they mature and are self-sustaining, and extended to new planting beds as necessary. So our waterfront green space will reflect the pride in our community that is shared by year-round and summer residents. So that is that's it in a nutshell. It's a little bit more detailed in the statement of intent. Any questions, discussion? What, I don't know if Bruce is on the where are you, Bruce?
I think like this isn't all going to happen at once. This is a
No, it's going to happen gradually as people indicated
Yeah.
a desire to be part of it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I mean, we could talk money, but we don't have to right now because Garden Club has some money set aside to get things started, but I would like to maybe partner up with Summer Residents Association, some other groups, so we could maybe get a stab and get it going. But it's not gonna all be done at once. No, it's a plan that we can chip away at. A little bit like the library, yeah.
Am I correct in assuming where it says sculpture, that is the Joseph T. Mazzetti Memorial
That green,
in the green area, annuals and
No.
perennials, where is that?
oh, right
Memorial.
up there with the PG hydrangeas, where the
Oh,
arrow
okay,
is,
okay,
that's the Mazzetti
okay.
Memorial, yeah. And, you know, eventually there's thoughts of having a sculpture down in that oval
They're
part.
suggestions. They're not.
They're just suggestions.
Mhm.
Well, I just want to say thank you. This is terrific. I love the plan and I really appreciate your work on it. So thank you very much. We really needed something and looks great to me.
So hopefully it'll make the area more cohesive.
Yeah.
And so,
As the harbor committee, I mean, they've had the opportunity to see this. And are they,
I talked to Rick.
I'm speaking on behalf of the Harbor Committee. We haven't seen it as a group. We might have seen it individually. But our stand right now is that we would like to discuss this as a group before you give any approval to any plans. There are concerns about our open space needed for events like the Memorial Day event. And I'm expressing that from members of the Harbor Committee that have spoken to me. We have a very busy first meeting scheduled in September. I'm not sure we would even have time to discuss this, so I would suggest that the Harbor Committee couldn't look at it before our meeting in October. But we would like very much to have an input on the say of the plan.
Well, and I think we'd welcome the input from the harbor
Yeah.
committee.
I have no problem with that.
I think that's important to all kind of be on the same page and work together. And,
Right, there is, so there was, you know, that area, right? Well, it's right here, there's a walkway. So an idea is to get rid of that, so then you create a lot of open space right here. And then this is where the tree is. And the idea is to just put some round tables around here. Just FYI.
And I would
So
love to like hear, like the farmer's market, of course, is a, you know, huge
Mhm.
undertaking here. And in the report, it kind of said it, you know, it didn't conflict with things, but I would love to invite like a representative from the farmer's market to maybe just provide input too. You know, I don't want to step
Yeah.
on anybody's
Well,
toes,
we
but
did take that into consideration, but absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, could you identify the person who spoke for the Harbor Committee?
Rick Savage.
Tony has his hand up.
Tony, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd mentioned this to Darlin when I first saw this a while ago. Remember that the village green is sinking. It's compacting the mud that it was built on. And that might be something that an engineer, the architect takes into consideration. Back in the mid-90s, there was a sewer storm drain project. And the town was going to begin filling that area. But it was minimal. Excuse me. The calculation showed it wasn't going to be very much excess excavated material. So that was tabled until some point in the future before that was looked at again as far as filling it. But it's just food for thought for the planners. But it is settling.
Hi, this is Donna Reese. I'm also on the Harbor Committee, and I completely agree with Tony. There's times right now we have a severe drought, but when there's not a drought, and certainly after a rain, a hard rain, you can be standing in up to your ankles in mud right on the grassy area there, which can be problematic. And I think definitely an engineer should look at that before we even go forward with any plan. And then I have one more question is, you said that there's a walkway in the plan when you just walked over to the diagram and said that that's going to change. Will you be resubmitting an updated version of the plan that doesn't have that?
That's the existing walkway. And the plan is to get rid of that walkway because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And it gives more open space. It will be an area for kids to play in, the library and.
Okay, so thank you for,
Right.
thank you for clarifying that, because that's one of the only areas when there is a condition of this puddling of water and muck and the settling that Tony referred to. That's one of the only ways you can cross over there. So removing that walkway could potentially be more problematic for people actually using this space. So I think that again is another reason why we have to look more closely at that before any approvals move forward.
Okay.
And I know, I mean, I would just add that walkway gets used a lot at that farmer's market. I
A
mean, I
lot.
worry that if we didn't have some way for people to get from the parking to the farmer's market, that some of the trees might get trampled, or people would walk in areas that maybe, would be high traffic areas. I get your idea though, because it does take up space through there, but I've been down to that farmer's market a few times this summer, and I am shocked at how busy it is and how many people are there.
I think that the thought was to still keep the walkway, but the walkway would just not be bisecting
Oh,
the large.
got you. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect, got it.
So will you be resubmitting a plan with the movement of the walkway then?
It's in the current plan. I don't know if you can see it, but to the left side, that little line
Yeah.
is a new walkway.
Right there.
Jim,
little bit, I read the plan, are you planning to do away with the tree that's in the middle of there now? I read something about
That's a tree that is probably gonna fall down pretty soon. It's got very shallow roots, and so it will be replaced when it does. But it's the only tree down there which has a lot of shade. So you want to keep a tree down there because the food trucks are there. So the idea is to have tables around the tree under the shade.
My other observation is as these trees get bigger, will the same thing happen to them as it happened up by the bathhouse where it blocks somebody's view and it's been poisoned? Oh, yeah, I mean, it has, all around is dead and you can see where someone poisoned it and walked through the grass and killed the grass, so.
Where are you talking, Jimmy?
Up by the showers.
The Oxfords.
Oh, really?
wow,
Wow.
I don't know who they've done it, if we can do the site.
It's like Tony has his hand up.
So as these red maples get higher, there are gonna be people that are gonna be upset about it. So,
I wish Bruce Riddell was on here to address that.
Tony, go ahead.
The reason that walkway is low, people being people, they'll take the shortest distance between 2 points. And the reason the walkway is where it is the grass was trampled down by foot traffic. And that's why we opted to put that walkway there. Now, if you wanted to consider leaving the walkway, it could be taken up and replaced with a soft, like stone dust. Instead, there could be a substitute for the pavement that would do the same thing, but be softer to land on if anybody was playing down there. Just food for thought, but people do, and that's not the only place that we've constructed a walkway based on foot traffic.
Thing about that dust, I think it's harder for any kind of vehicle like a wheelchair or a walker. I think the asphalt is easier.
Well, I think the water problem should be addressed.
This is a starting point.
Yeah.
You know, we want to hear from the harbor
Yeah.
committee, we want to find out more about the land, yeah. But I think it's a terrific start.
Okay,
Thank you, Willie.
so,
I just have one question regarding the settlement for Tony. The settlement of the land itself, Tony, would it be of any value to have core samples taken throughout the Village Green area? Because that's all dredged land where the whole Village Green is built upon. It might be nice to know where it's sturdy enough to sustain heavy development if it's necessary, and where we should tread lightly.
Yes, geotechnical engineers should be retained to do core samples. And the existing materials can be stabilized with something as easy as fabric, called filter fabric. But that's why I'm saying a professional geotechnical engineer look at it. Of course, if we put a foot and a half of material on it, that's called like preloading. So that may have an effect on the materials underneath and compact that. That's why geotech should take a look at it. Yes, Rick. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
More food for thought.
Thank you. All right,
Thank you, Garden Club.
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
All right, next item of business, consideration of purchasing a new dump body, hopper sander, and plow equipment from Viking and have them installed on our new 2024 International Cab and Chassis at their bid price of $109,909.
Move approval.
Second,
All in favor?
Thank you.
Consideration of using funds from the Public Works Equipment Reserve Account number 4050100-24500 for the current unencumbered balance of $328,121.21, leaving $218,212.21 in the account if we are authorized to make this purchase from this account.
move authorization.
Second,
All in favor? Authorize Public Works Director Tony Smith to execute any and all documents to facilitate the purchase of the new dump body, hopper sander, and plow equipment from Viking.
Move authorization.
second,
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right, new business, public space of a special event application, Coast Guard picnic, Northeast Harbor Village Green, Thursday, August 31, 2022, 9 to 1 p.m. Jared Kushla.
move approval.
Second,
Good, all in favor? Consideration of community skating rink.
So a couple of memos I wrote, and
Yeah.
then there was also one. And what I did is I wanted to check on liability and things like that, so I did contact our insurer, and we are covered under what they call the Maine Torts Claims Act. However, there are certain things that you should do in order, if you're going to consider that. And I made a list of those. You should have signage, skate at your own risk. Post the hours available for skating. Here's the thing where it gets to be quite a fair amount of oversight to do something like this. This one here, you really should have rink conditions checked daily for ice thickness. Obviously, that is something that you have to decide how is that going to be done, and who's qualified to do that. please don't play hockey there. The other one I'm not quite sure of. I know that the town of Eddington has a municipal skating facility. I've been trying to reach out to them to see how they handle it. As yet, I haven't been able to get through. I'm not quite sure. They had recommended a waiver signed by individuals. I'm not quite sure if that's something that you should do on top of posting signage, skate at your own rink, and I'm not quite sure how you would navigate a waiver, particularly since a lot of times, who's going to do that? What's going to happen on weekends? Do they have to go and see a dispatch? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here. I think that would need to be worked out. Having said that, I'm sure it would be possible to do, but there are quite a bit of oversight things that need to be done with such a thing. The other thing I know we'd have to do to get some sort of other way or alternate posting for your tennis nets, because those that we have right now, they are permanent. They're not meant to come out. So you wouldn't want somebody skating into one of those. I think you would be probably invoking the Maine Tort Claims Act very quickly if those. So that would be another consideration. Do they make such things that could be taken out and put back into the year? So these are all things that I was just thinking about as you go through. This should be part of your decision-making process, particularly the maintenance setup. Then who does that? Is that in what priority does it take in the winter, for example, if there's a snowstorm, somebody itching to go and, So anyway, they're all possibly to do, but there are considerations that you need to think about, or somebody's going to need to think about. Probably me and Tony. So anyway, so go ahead. Have your questions and let the group can make a presentation.
Ellsworth has had a skating area in Knowlton Park for years.
Cool.
I think they still have it. They put it down a big
Who
thing.
does it? Who does it? Takes care of it?
I think the city does.
The city does.
Yeah.
Good, we can check with them as how
Yeah.
they do things. Okay.
Yeah, the city of Westbrook has had one since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Across the street from the high school. They're pretty innocuous as far as getting users to sign waivers. We don't have any parents of children using our swimming pool sign waivers before they
Yeah.
dip
So that
their
was
toe
just
in the
a
water or
blanket
things like
thing
that.
they threw
We
out.
can make it as complicated as we wish, but it's supposed to just be an open air, skate at your own risk, have fun kind of event. As far as measuring ice thickness, most municipal skating rinks aren't built on deep bodies of water. They're built with a 8 to 12-inch layer of ice within the confines of a bladder that they put down. So, some places that do have a lot of water, then obviously that's a serious concern, but I think we can mitigate a lot of our concerns if we're going to go that route to keep it as simple as possible, and you'd be surprised at the number of kids that'll have a great time.
Sounds good to me.
I agree. I think it's a great idea and, I bet, like you said, the elementary school kids, the gym teachers might even, walk their kids down. I mean, the neighborhood house, this could be a community.
Right.
This is what we want.
And the tennis courts isn't the only venue that's developable for that purpose, because it's a temporary setup that works only in the winter. Some areas, some towns use their soccer field or their
Right.
baseball field
Yep.
or whatever. And
There was
In the
one up
spring,
at the
they break
elementary
down.
school, right?
Yeah.
1 year or,
Sure.
Couple of years.
and
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a parent and it was wet on top, I would know that my kids were either gonna get wet if they were skating or I feel like checking the ice condition. I feel like that's part of skate at your own risk, is I'm gonna,
I wouldn't recommend Some's Pond, however.
well, true. But what a great start to something really cool that,
Yeah, I think it'd be neat.
Erica, was there any thought of doing it at the school, on the school grounds?
No, initially I just hadn't asked Tony. I was sort of thinking in the field, but I had no idea. But there's irrigation there and it was not a great place. And so.
And the school field.
No, I'm sorry, down here. at the
Yeah.
harbor. I mean, I just thought that big green space, but Tony had sort of mentioned the tennis courts, which is such a brilliant idea because it's level, it's gated, it's close to the bathrooms, it's close to parking, there's water nearby. It just made a lot of sense. And I sort of thought, you know, in some ways, the school out of sight, out of mind, you know, like down there, you'd see it, you think about it, and you come down.
Did you talk to the neighborhood? I mean, the neighborhood house handles the pool, so I wondered if this could be something that they could take on as a, I'm just throwing out the idea as a project.
I did mention it to Matt and he felt that they were pretty full right now in terms of taking on new projects. So I think it's an interesting fit. But
It sort of makes sense since they're what we have for a rec department, really. And they do the pool. And I know they're very busy, but I would think winter would be a little less busy than summer.
well, I'll go back.
Yeah,
All right.
but I think.
I mean, I think the concept is amazing and that we can keep it simple. I agree, Rick, we could make it as difficult as long as we're covered and it's safe and fun and the concept is a great idea and I agree, like, because if you want to close it at a certain time, easily done by locking the door.
Maybe we could put one of those Stay Puft Marshmallow Men over each of the tennis court posts. If anybody, it'll be all right.
I appreciated how much research you did. This was really helpful to get all this information.
Well, it was a group effort.
Yeah.
And we have a pretty great list of volunteers who are willing to come down and resurface and, you know, shovel snow and put it up and take it down. And actually that article in the paper, just strangers will contact me saying I think it's a good idea about to help. So I think it really.
Oh, that's great.
Community.
Oh, wonderful.
Sorry.
Do you hold it for this winter?
Yes. I've got to get my kids off those iPads.
So Erica, so this would be an impervious membrane, obviously would have to put down over the tennis court surfaces. Has this been done anywhere else where there's an existing surface like that underneath that?
I mean, I think they do it all the time. I have to,
Yeah.
I think it's actually the better way to do it than to put it on the grass, but I'm not sure. We contacted Nice Rink, who does these setups all the time.
Oh,
And
okay.
gave them the information, you know, the size of the courts and explained it to them. And it's nice because it's more level that way. I mean, it's not completely 100% level, but it's more level. So when you fill it, you know, there wouldn't be as much of a discrepancy.
Yeah.
As there may be.
Yeah. My only concern is that that it might affect the rate at which we have to resurface the courts every year. So I don't know. It's been done before in other tennis courts, other similar surfaces with no.
The
Tony
one
has
good thing is I think those courts are due for resurfacing
Yeah,
next
they
year.
look pretty
anyway,
beat
so-
up, you know.
So it might not. be
Tony, go ahead.
1 year. anyway.
Having shoveled tons of snow off outdoor rinks growing up north, if I was clearing the snow, I'd ask for an opening on the other 3 sides. So everything doesn't have to go down to the primary enter and exit gate. It's just less hauling and less pushing that you have to do. It'll make it easier for those clearing the rink.
Mr. Speaker, I mean, Mr. Chairman.
Who's talking here?
I think it's Lincoln.
Lincoln?
You identify the speaker before Tony?
Erica Wibby.
Thank you so much.
Well, Mitchell.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
You've been on
Mitchell.
the record.
Mitchell, part of growing up in a small town. I'll always be Wendy Haynes.
Good.
So do
Right.
we need to do anything other than,
Yeah, because you're gonna want to indicate that you would be interested in accepting such a gift, like that, because otherwise they're gonna go out and start raising money. So they should have some sort of a a vote to indicate that if they do this, that you will come back and accept it. You can't accept it right now if you don't know what to tell. But you don't want them going out blind and then coming back and saying, oh, I don't want this.
You get the money, we'll.
So
take
I
it.
would move that we accept the concept of the community skating rink
And
And-
support the CDC in their efforts.
and, you know, deal with the little things as they come along with our support.
Now you're morally on record.
And I second that.
Sure.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Erica.
Erica.
Thanks, Erica.
You've come a long way since we first started talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, request approval of the purchase and trade-in of a police department cruiser for a net price of $28,070 to be funded through the police department equipment vehicle line 144001110-57200, which has a current balance of $45,000.
Move approval.
Second,
All in favor? Okay, request authorization to award the construction of two 60-foot aluminum ramps for the north and public dock entrances to Chalmers Enterprises LLC for $71,500 from the Northeast Harbor CIP 6410100-24680 with a balance of $99,671.34.
Move authorization.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Authorize Harbor Master John Lemoyne to execute any and all documents to facilitate the contract for the construction of two 60-foot aluminum ramps for the north and public dock entrances.
Move authorization.
second,
All in favor?
Thank you.
Office closure for Clerks Networking Day, September 15, 2022.
That would be just for clerk services, not other customer services will be able to continue. Wouldn't be able to get a birth or death certificate or.
Although, didn't you say Mike knows how to do all that stuff now?
Yeah, so there might be a cover for us.
So it's not a hard closure.
Since you have a case in office.
Very fun.
Okay,
I would move approval with excitement for Jen.
Yeah. Second with congratulations. Yeah. Great.
all right. All in favor? Nice.
Thank you.
All right, consideration of authorizing town manager Darrell Lunt to negotiate and enter into a lease agreement with the Mount Desert Island High School of the 80 kilowatt generator described in memo from Public Works Director Tony Smith and Finance Director Jake Wright dated August 11, 2022 for a lease term ending on May 31, 2023 in exchange for $1 in consideration. Said lease agreement will not include a purchase option, but will otherwise contain such terms and conditions as the town manager deems appropriate.
I have a question, so I should.
You
move
had
it
wait
first.
for a
Okay,
motion.
I'll move it.
Second.
Good questions.
Tony, why are we only charging $1?
Because they're our municipal partner.
Well, we also pay them more.
Yes, oh, I understand that. And John asked a similar question last time around which in brief was, what should we charge for this? And I had said that we have around $6,200 in it for a shroud around it, a radiator and a
Right.
muffler, I believe. And the generator itself, we spoke with an entity, it's worth probably $10,000 to $15,000 on the open market, so to speak.
What would they be paying to get one of these if they weren't getting it from us?
The school solicited, as a trustee, we solicited bids. One was in $55,000 range, which has probably gone up because we haven't pulled the trigger on buying it. And
Right.
another one came in the 60s, and that went up to 72,000 shortly thereafter due to supply chain issues and not signing an agreement to purchase it.
Tony, I read that, but my question, I guess I didn't
Oh.
state it right, was more what, if they were gonna lease it for a year, what would it cost them?
Oh, I don't know that, if it was a brand new one and was in the same manner that we lease the sidewalk plow and backhoe loader, we didn't check into that. But lease terms, we usually go, I don't know, Martha, we didn't check into it.
Jay, what, is it past its depreciation lifespan?
Yes.
It's been fully depreciated, yeah, on our books, generators, I believe, for 15 years. And like we said, this is a 20-plus-year-old generator. There were a couple of considerations that led to the dollar. I mentioned in the memo, Article 27, because we're estimating market value of this generator at potentially over $10,000. We're saying that it's not clear that authority was granted from the town to the board to authorize disposal, and so that's why last board meeting, the concept of selling was thrown out, and since deemed to be inadvisable at this stage. And so there's kind of two options from there in terms of providing immediate relief. One option is to do a market-based approach like you're talking about, which first off, you have to have someone that's capable of doing that. I can, depending on lease terms that you guys want to see, I can give a rough estimate of what the market, payment would land based on, but we'd have to come to an agreement on a discount rate and fair market value. And so what we were thinking is the easiest approach, because there are municipal partners as well, is lease it for $1 through the period May 31st, 2023. If you guys want to bring it to town meeting to sell, you can do that in early May, or you decide on a more market-based approach for a longer-term lease solution. Going forward, but this is a way to provide an immediate solution. That being said, this is a proposal and it's completely amendable if you want to see a more market-based approach.
Go ahead, Rick.
In deference to the taxpayers of our town, since tax dollars go to the school and go to the municipality to run, if we sell the generator to the school for X dollars, they're going to have to increase their budget, which means the taxpayer is going to have to support that budget. We end up getting money for that, which isn't going to drive the taxpayer's obligation down any. We're just going to find something else to do with that money. So the even push for me, for our taxpayers, is to, why not lease it to them for $1? And on May 31st, lease it to them for another year for another $1. And at least that keeps everything on an even keel, and we're not going to, even if it's 1/10 of a penny, I don't care what it is, you're not going to see an increase in taxes because somebody had to go buy a generator. But that's just the perspective from which I come.
Right. I think in this situation, they've allotted a certain number of dollars that would far exceed the market value that they'd be receiving from the town. And so, again, this is your property and the town's property, and you guys have control. I think in terms of the tax consideration, if you were to sell it, because it's fully depreciated, it would be seen as a gain on sale of property on our side, because the market value exceeds the book value at this point. But beyond that, you're right, and that's why we mentioned municipal partners, because in many ways people here are supporting both the town and it's changing of hats essentially.
Basically,
yeah.
I agree with that. Spending $1 to keep $60,000 out of next year's budget isn't a bad idea.
And it's a generator that has just been sitting in the building. It might as well get utilized and support another part of our community. I don't know that I can speak because I work for the school, but we've looked into getting a generator, and it's like 2 years out
Right.
before we can get anything.
No, I
so.
I think they should use the generator. I just felt that the town should get more for it.
Tony, go ahead.
The trustees authorized up to $60,000 to purchase a new generator before we knew the lead times were a year out. And school starts, I believe, in 2 weeks. And I'm not trying to put pressure on ourselves, but we need to make a decision pretty quick and get the thing up there and in place and operational. Or
Is that particularly disruptive, Tony?
No. It's
Okay,
going.
When was
it's
the
going
last time
where-
we lost power up there?
Pardon me?
When was the last time we needed a generator up there?
I couldn't tell you, but they do have freezers, I believe. Wendy, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They serve lunch.
Less power this summer.
Yeah, okay.
They gotta have a generator.
Okay.
And at this
And-
point, we
and-
don't even have a generator that will keep emergency lights running.
I'm just questioning the hurry up.
Well, it's like the fire department, or homeowners insurance. You never know when you're gonna need it, but you have to have it.
We would have to shut school down right now if we had any type of power outage.
Yeah, I know that, but
Thank
what I
you,
mean, is, what is the real risk of having, can we wait a month? Is that gonna be a big deal? Or do we have to do it next week?
Well, no, I think his point was he'd like to get it approved so they can begin the process of whatever it's gonna be. I don't
Yes.
think it's crucial that it get up there before school starts, but if it's feasible,
If we can get things in motion, they need to purchase a transfer switch, move it, check the output, get a transfer switch, get the trench dug, to get the power, that generator connected to the power, into the building. And, nobody, I don't believe anyone can guesstimate the next time the power will go out. It's just one of those necessary evils like homeowners insurance. You buy it and hope you never have to use it.
All right. Anybody have anything else?
Has it been moved and seconded?
Yes, it's
Yes.
been moved and seconded. Okay, all in favor? I'll say yes. All against? Opposed. All right. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, consideration of retaining services of MCM Electric to furnish and install a new utility pole to Versant standards on Gilpatrick Lane and to install a new LED street light provided to them by us on the pole at a lump sum cost of $2,700.
Move approval.
Second,
All in favor? Consideration of authorizing the use of remaining bond funds from the 2017-18 LED project account number 3000035-57710 with a current balance of $34,956.92 to pay for the pole and streetlight work, leaving a bond balance of $32,256.92 if this purchase is made as described.
Move authorization.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor? Authorize Public Works Director Tony Smith to execute any and all documents to facilitate the pole and streetlight installation as needed, including but not necessarily limited to Versant and MCM Electric.
move authorization,
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Consideration to authorize the fire chief to sign and execute a professional services agreement with the Jackson Laboratory that provides one off-duty Mount Desert Fire Department staff member for an outside detail on August 25th, 2022, under the terms and conditions outlined in the agreement.
Move authorization.
second.
All in favor?
Just, Mike, this won't cost us anything. You're just allowing that person to get hired or paid by them, correct?
That's correct. You're going to be paying the town for those.
Okay, perfect.
So
So,
it's in line with the previous outside detail.
yeah, perfect. Thank you for the clear. So, yes, I approve.
Okay. All in favor? We did that, right? Yeah. Good. Other business, any other business? Treasurer's warrants. Approve and sign treasurer's warrants as shown. 10 invoices AP 2312 in the amount of $533,939.66.
Move approval and signature.
Second,
All in favor? Approve signed treasurer's payroll, state fees and payroll benefits, AP 2310, AP 2311, and town payroll PR 2303 in the amount of $223,506.09.
move approval.
Second.
All in favor? And one abstention. Acknowledge treasurer's town voted disbursements and school board warrants, school payroll PR 3. School invoice AP 2, voided disbursements B 2301. For a net total of $144,933.56.
Move acknowledgement.
Second,
All in favor? Motion to adjourn.
so move.
Second.
All in favor?